So let's go to the third one for today, which is um, actually how to find your passions. I
Yeah,
mean, you
that's a good
started
one.
talking something about it because it's so. What now we know they're important. They what is
Mm.
passion, but how to find them?
Yeah, no, such a good question. So that's when I was mentioning these 8 different kind of categories, health, relationships, career, physical environment, service, all of these areas. That's where you look to say, okay, so what is it that I want now? Right? Because you don't want to look at what you did 10 years ago and say, oh, well, I must, I loved it once. Well, no, just check in with yourself and go, yeah, what I'd really love to do is walk and take hikes. Like, I'd love to do this hiking trail, or, and then you notice that there's like, there's this moment where you just like, there's your breath gets taken away, or you just go, oh, yeah, that would feel so good. So sometimes it's like wow. Or you just like ground yourself and go, yes, that's it. Like you have a knowing. So when you write these things down, you write them in the positive and in the present moment. Not like I will, but I am. And that's very different because when you're saying I will, you're like futurizing everything and then you're not there. And what we're trying to say is you can have these passions now, right now. There's no, the only person that's getting in your way is you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so then you ask these, you write down like 10 to 15 things, and you also write them. When I say write them in the positive, let's say I've had a really bad experience with, like, I've worked by myself and I couldn't stand it. Okay, let's just make this up. And so I don't want to say I don't ever want to be working on my own. I want to say I work with a phenomenal, inspiring team of like-minded people. Okay, because that's what I actually want. But sometimes you have to go to what you don't want, like you've had that experience, and then you flip it and you go to what you now want, right? So that's a very important thing. You write that down and then you ask yourself, or a facilitator, because I'm one of those people that I needed to be asked the questions. There's 3 questions that in the passion test process you can ask yourself if you get stuck. So the first question is, um, if you could, if you're actually asking yourself these questions to yourself, you're going to say, oh my God, I just lost the question. Oh, that is so funny. All right, well, there you go. So I'm like stumbling over myself. Um, I'm coming up with a second question. So um,
yeah. That's all right.
that's so funny. Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah,
this is the first time I've ever done that. All right, it'll come. All right, which I got it. Which feels
yeah.
better? So number one is which feels better. Number two, which is the one that kept coming to my mind, is if you could have whatever that passion is, you go down your list and you take your first passion and the second one and you compare them. If I could have this passion but not this other one, or if I could have this other one and not this one on top, which one feels better? You would then look at which feels better and you listen to your heart. And in that moment, then you make a choice. And the questions are based on actually forcing you to really make a decision. And it could be uncomfortable. And people are like, oh no, oh no, 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 I don't want to. Like, that means that I'm denying another one. So the beautiful thing about this process is that even once you've come up with your 5 passions, and the other ones are still there. The other ones then we bring back to work out into our markers.
Yeah.
So that markers is the second step. And so nothing gets lost, which I love, because then we're really honoring all these things that you have taken the time to say are important to you. So I love that. And then there's a third question, which helps you to imagine, like if a person is really stuck, then you just invite them to close their eyes and you help them to imagine. And they see themselves living that one passion, but that other one is not in the picture. And then you put that image aside. And then you have them visualize the other passion and living that full out, but not the one that their first one. And then you then ask them, so which feels better? And then they get the clarity. It's amazing. I mean, I've done this with kids, I've done this with adults. Everyone seems to get the concept that, okay, there's one that feels just a little bit better, and that's the one that they choose. So it's a really powerful process. And then
Yeah.
remember so you find your 5 passions, okay, or the things that are most important to you. Some people don't like the word passion. So whatever way you want to say that, these are the things that are most important to you right now. Okay, and then what you do is you now say, whenever you're faced with a choice, a decision, or an opportunity, choose in favor of your passions. That's the secret to this whole thing. I mean, it's not a secret, and yet it's a secret because
Yep.
you were saying at the very beginning something about the shoulds and you have tos. And when we're living our passions, we are saying no to the things that distract us. So if I was looking at my phone all the time doing social media, what I really wanted to do is be outside taking a hike, I'm going to say no to the social media and maybe shorten the time or do whatever I need to do, and then take the time to go outside. And I can actually give you an example that when I first started, and this is like 14 years ago, I had my 5 passions, and I noticed that my passion around doing exercise, I constantly said no. And I was like, what's the deal with this? Why do I keep saying no to exercise? And I remember I went up to Chris Atwood and I was like, what am I doing? Like, is this not an important passion? Is that why I'm not doing this? And he said, well, maybe look to see if there's any beliefs that are getting in your way, limiting beliefs. And I looked and I finally went, oh my God, yes. I had this idea that if I was to exercise, it had to be for an hour or more. So if I didn't have an hour, I just said, no, I can't do it. So then once I realized that, it was like my big aha, because then I said, no matter what, I'm going to take 5 minutes, even if it's to stand outside and breathe some fresh air, or I'm going to take a half hour. I'm going to do something and always say yes to this passion. Totally changed my feeling about it. I then started to feel completely in alignment then with all my passions. And that is when I went, yes, because you really get this yes feeling when you're saying yes to all of them. And they show up differently. It's not like I go, okay, this is my number one, so I must say yes to this. I just allow the universe to show things to me for the day. And then I look and go, is that going to take me closer to living my passions? And if it is, I say, absolutely, heck yes. And if it's going to take me away from my passions, I say, no, thank you. And
Wow.
that's still a learning curve for, I think, me, for sure, because my passions change, and then I have to get honest and real with myself. And it's beautiful to be able to go, yeah, I am so, feeling that alignment, that it's like a chink, 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 and everything kind of all lines up, and you go, wow, feeling it's like living a good life. And I might be doing a job that I like. I might not love it, but everything starts to, I'm telling you, it just shifts and lines up so that you feel good about your life and the purpose that you have, because you can start to find what is purposeful in your life by living your passions, and that's so key.
Absolutely, Karin. Wow. Everyone who is listening to that, try the process and see what are your passions. And you can even comment and just share with us what, if you have some challenges around it, we can help